You may have tried agendas, timers, you may have even read the Smart But Scattered books. You may have watched YouTube videos. You maybe even asked ChatGPT, how can I fix my child's executive functioning skills? I'm here to tell you this isn't about trying harder or continuing your search on how to fix your child's executive functioning skills, or even trying some new strategies. Fixing your child's executive functioning skills is really all about this one missing piece, and here it is. You need to match your child's executive functioning skills to a strategy that matches for them. This is why random strategies don't work. In this video, we're going to get right into how we can figure out what's the right strategy for your child so we can fix executive functioning skills. Before we go any further, let's clarify and level the playing field. We have 11 executive functioning skills. A lot of times what happens is that the advice, the strategies, the tips that are out there in the world for executive functioning skills are related to one of these 11 skills. However, if this strategy that's for this skill isn't the one that your child is really struggling with, it's really not going to make that much of a difference. So then you've invested your time, effort, energy, and maybe even some financial investments, and it really didn't pull the trigger, leaving you and your child kind of with this taste of mistrust and hopeless, right? That you're going to be able to do anything to fix these executive functioning skills. So we are going to put those random strategies aside, and we're really going to try and look for a way that you can understand your child's executive functioning skills so that then and only then you can start looking for resources and strategies that actually match what your child needs. So I'm going to go over a couple of executive functioning skills, what they look like, what they do, and a quick little test that you can do as you're looking at your child going through everyday life to be like, oh yeah, I think they're actually struggling with this. That way you start to get an insight as to where the challenges are with your child. Real quick tip before you start, as I go through them, you are listening and taking notice. We're not really looking to diagnose or to really hone in on like, oh, this is the one. We're just beginning to start to take notice as to where are the areas that your child struggles with. When it comes to executive functioning skills, they kind of ebb and flow into each other. So there's not going to be like one compartmentalized executive functioning skills that your child needs to work on. But as you start getting familiar with them, you will see that there's 1, 2, 3 that maybe your child struggles with the most. Here we go. Organization, so popular, so obvious. When organization is the missing piece, your child are stressed, they are late, they're behind, and that feeling of like, I don't even know where to begin kicks in. So the organization really ties in with anxiety and stress. So organization is a system to keep track of the things you need to get the things done. That's basic, simple. What it looks like when organization is struggling is your child cannot find the things they need in the time allowed. So maybe they can find it, it takes a lot longer. Maybe they need to do a couple of extra steps to get what they need to pull the materials they need to get it done. So real quick, I want you to just observe your child and maybe say, hey, we were working on this thing last week, or I know you were working on this book report. Where in your backpack is it? See if they can find something that you know they've been working on. Can they pull it out and know where it is? If they can't, that's a sign that organization is a weak spot for them. Time management, time awareness, as I like to call it, also known time blindness. This is, can your child move through their day, move through their activity in the allotted time, in the right speed, the speed that matches the environment, right? So what it looks like, they are overestimating, underestimating how long things will take. They're unable to predict how long things will take. So usually they're either running behind or not able to complete the task at hand. Quick test takeaway for you is have an I wonder moment with your child. Hey, what's for homework today? Oh, I have to write my spelling words 3 times each. Hey, I wonder, how long do you think it's gonna take you to write those spelling words 3 times each? oh, it's gonna take me like 30 seconds, it's super easy. Or, oh, spelling words are so hard, it's gonna take me, like an hour to write it. Oh, okay, no judgment here. You gotta put on your straight face. Do you mind if we check and see how long it actually takes? I'm really wondering. So this is a good way to see, are they connected to what they think things are gonna take, what they predict things are gonna take, and to what actually happens in reality. Task initiation, the ability to know what you have to do, right? And get started. That first step sometimes is so hard for all of us, right? And so hard for our kids. So task initiation, being able to start that thing, whether I want to do that thing or whether I don't want to do the thing. Obviously, it's harder if it's something they don't want to do. So what it looks like when your child struggles with task initiation, they need a lot of reminders to get started, a lot of cues to get started. Sometimes it's physical cues. Hey, here is your math book. Hey, here is the laundry pile. And sometimes it's a lot of prompting and reminders. And what happens with task initiation is the child gets used to all these cues that they need, and the awesome adult gets exhausted, constantly having to cue your kiddo to get that thing done, whether you're a teacher or the parent. So quick test to check if task initiation is a struggle. When you know your child has something to do and they're ready to get started, sit and observe how long does it actually take them to get started. Or you can sit and observe how much can they get done in those first 2 minutes, right? Are they still sharpening pencils? Are they still, reading a book? Are they still, stretching, moving, doing everything they can do, but something related to the task? That's a sign task initiation is a struggle. Flexibility is another executive functioning skill. The kids that have a high threshold for flexibility, these are my go with the flow kids. Like, schedule changes, it's okay. My teacher's not here today, that's okay too. They're very go with the flow, easygoing personality. However, my kids that struggle with flexibility really have a hard time when routines change, really have a hard time with last minute changes, unexpected changes. You'll see this hard time show up even if it's not even something that was really important to them, right? Obviously, if they were looking forward to a play date, a party, and it gets canceled, everybody's gonna be a little bit disappointed with that. But even just something in their regular everyday routine that gets changed, all of a sudden, they have a harder time adjusting and being flexible for it. So here is a quick test to test for flexibility. You can change a part of their routine. It could be something as simple as maybe you guys do dinner, story time, bath time. Try and flip the order of the way that their routine is. Story time before dinner, and then bath time, and then bed. Another way that I like to say is, this would apply more for an older child, but I love this example. So, because it creates flexibility and it also creates independence. If you send lunches to school, it's a great opportunity to, let's say you forget a fork, right? They're gonna have to get up, go to the cafeteria, borrow a fork. Is this something that your child can deal with regularly? If they have a really hard time with this, and we know that flexibility is an area that they really should be working on. We have working memory. So working memory is pretty complex and tricky, but this is one piece of what our memory does for us. So this particular piece is, it's able to, we learn some information, we are able to hold it and store it, and then here's where it becomes working, is we're able to recall it when we need it. So this can be learning something new like math facts, vocabulary, reading, but those are more academic, so there can be other things that come into play if your child gets stuck here. Working memory is simple, like, hey, I want you to do A, B, and C, and see how many of the steps we can remember to do, right? You don't want to do this with something that's a routine, because if it's a routine, they should be familiar with it. Something kind of new for them to do. If you test that and you see that they get stuck in step 1 or 2, this may be a flag that working memory is something your kiddo could benefit from. Emotional regulation is their ability to manage their emotions depending on what's going on in the environment, right? So a lot of times when our kids struggle with emotional regulation, it looks like they're having big emotions to something that most of us would perceive as a small or medium problem, right? They will have a big outburst, big feelings related to something that's not such a big deal. And not only that, it may take them a long time to recover from this meltdown or breakdown. It may take them a long time to recover from these big feelings. This is definitely a red flag for emotional regulation. I do not have a test for this one because if this is something your child struggles with it, you'll see it throughout the day. So here's what I want you to notice. A lot of times we use strategies that aren't related to the areas of struggle. Here's the thing, executive functioning skills improve when we know what skills our child is struggling with, and then we can introduce the strategy, the support, the scaffolding, all the things that are going to increase those executive functioning skills. Remember, executive functioning skills, the beauty of them is that they improve with specific strategies and explicit examples of how we change the environment. The good news is that we know executive functioning skills can and will improve and develop. So with the right strategies and the right environmental changes, we can really help our kids improve those executive functioning skills. When I share the executive functioning fix with clients, this is exactly what we do. It is a 3-step process where we, number one, identify your child's executive functioning strengths and weaknesses. Once we have that, then we can get into how can we change these executive functioning skills in a way that's sustainable, that matters to your family, and that is related to those executive functioning strengths and struggles that are unique to your child. Then we get to build and pull specific strategies, right? Because now we have a foundation. So now the strategies that we're going to put into place have a much better chance of working because we've customized them to your child's executive functioning skills, right? Check. And we have thought of strategies that are going to make these executive functioning skills get better. So they're not random, right? So ding, second check. So now when I introduce strategies, they're customized to exactly what your child needs because they're built on personalized foundations and personalized strategies. Random strategies that don't work for your kid are most likely because they're not the correct match. With the executive functioning fix, we get straight to the solution because we get the strategies, we know your child's strengths and weaknesses, and then the activities that you're going to do are going to match perfectly with what your child needs. So I'm inviting you all to check in on the executive functioning fix, linked right here at the end of this video.